1-1 draw away to Southampton. Um, I'll start by saying that I feel like that game should have been won. That game should have been won pretty easily. A 1-0 lead is very slim, but Southampton is a side that really you don't expect to have any kind of attacking firepower. However, and this was very interesting, I didn't know that during the game they were, really running home the stat. They haven't failed to score, and I think it was 13 or 15 consecutive home games.
Southampton.
Southampton.
Really?
Nice.
They have not failed to score at least one goal in 15 consecutive home games.
Wasn't this the same team that couldn't score a goal for the first couple games last season?
Yeah. And for some reason, they've kind of turned that around. And at least they're scoring once.
So that's at least asking for two, and you have to score at least 2 goals on their side.
On their side, yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's
a good challenge.
I mean, for Southampton, that's a big plus. For United, especially, or for any other, top 6 side or any visiting side, really, it becomes a bit more of a challenge because if you know right off the bat, you're gonna have to. The stats are against you. You're gonna have to score twice. You really got to put it away. So a few talking points. We got some of the youngins that were stepping up. We had that injury to Shaw, which forced Young to start. Martial sitting out, that gave Solskjaer a bit of a headache for who to select. I was kind of putting my money on Greenwood, as my fantasy team showed, but
me too.
That kind of backfired a little bit. It's all right though. I don't know. I watched the game definitely, but I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, actually,
I'll open it to you guys.
I definitely woke up early, hungover that day, to watch that game. So I'm telling you, it's been a very long weekend, man. But no, I did watch the game.
Yeah, if you can see, Eric was the only one that made it in.
Yeah.
Can you only imagine everybody else?
No, I'm still recovering right now. I'm barely surviving right now. But I did watch the game. Awesome game. Definitely back and forth. United definitely dominated. They had, I think, 20 shots or something like that.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
It's FIFA stats again all over. But what I did like was that McTominay and Daniel James. Sorry, Thomas. Where I get that from? They were assister and scorer. That does show. I didn't like to see it, but I'm saying it's good to see that the youngsters of our clubs are a big influence in these kind of games. Unfortunately for you, fortunately for us, it was a 1-1 result, but it does show promise for the future, especially with these young guys going in. But my big question mark is Pogba.
Yeah, he went missing that game, man.
This guy.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, he supposed to be one of the best midfielders in the world. He broke your transfer record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, when he came.
But he came. Now, I think the other guy. But is he, now that he's sticking there for the season? Does he have to start building his reputation again and start getting out of his own way?
I feel like Marco has something to say.
No, I was just gonna say he hasn't been there.
He's laughing.
I know. I was thinking about it. I'm like, he's been with 2 different coaches, with 2 different tactics, 2 different play styles completely, and he still hasn't been able to figure out a way to fit in Man U's style or Man U's way. I know he wants to leave. I think it's the chance, just let him go.
Sorry.
No. The one other thing.
No, interrupt him, bro.
No. I thought he was done.
No. The one other thing I was gonna say is, yes, has been the most expensive purchase that you guys made, but sometimes money isn't everything, and he might have been overvalued. Like, let's say Coutinho was when he went to Barcelona. So
let me ask this. Maybe this is a stretch too far, but is the Premier League a lot more demanding than Serie A than Pogba was anticipating?
That could be a good point.
Because he did good in the beginning. He had pretty good games.
Yeah.
He was assisting, but the wear and tear over the demand of the Premier League with 4 major competitions throughout for the top 6 teams, that's a lot on your body.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Definitely not, walk in the park scoring against Cagliari or Lecce like Lukaku is right now, thinking that his freaking... I'll say that for later, but anyway. I did see that, though. And I sitting down watching that game, I was literally thinking, I feel like Pogba should be stepping up against Southampton, of all teams.
Yeah.
He should be showing something else. Not giving him an excuse, but he was played as the holding midfielder with McTominay to start at the game. Later on, I think it was like around like the 70th minute, 75th minute, something like that, when he made the defensive switch and put on Matic. And he put Pogba purposefully as Cam. He took out Andreas Pereira and Mata. That's when Pogba looked. That's like, from that moment on, that's when I felt the most hopeful, like at all. Even after Daniel James scored, I just had a feeling, not even knowing Southampton's stat, I just had a feeling, something was gonna happen. But that point on, when Pogba was further up the pitch, it almost looked like he was purposefully playing like badly, and then because he so easily switched it on. He looked a lot more creative. He was pinging passes left and right. Of course, he's a more advanced role is gonna let you do that, but it looked like he was like on purpose, kind of like just like put his foot on the brake. And then once he got what he wanted, which was playing more forward, then he looked good. But still, we have Lindelof getting out jumped for the 1-1. Yes, they had a man sent off with about like maybe 20-ish minutes to spare. And then they were down to 9 for like the last like 2 minutes of stoppage. I don't know about that, but at least with 10 men, I think it was Arlo White or one of these guys that had mentioned like that were commentators for the match. They're saying that it looked like almost like United had it easier when they were 11v11 because Southampton got so much more compact, and it's so weird how like it depends what kind of a team you are, but going down a man almost solves a lot of problems for you because all you have to do now is just focus on surviving and defending. That's it. So, I mean, I don't have much else to say. We do have 1 point though. Is Ole gonna be?
Oh, good one, Marco. I just got that. That was really good. Damn.
That's why I paused because he never does that.
I know, exactly. Cut me off guard. Wait. I'm looking at what's the points right now. What's going on?
You're expecting like Ricky to do it, and Ricky
that's
you
good.
on top and shit. Like,
spirit of Ricky.
That was good.
Wow.
That was good.
Wow.
My David's writing your name down, and I'm gonna kill you next.
First time Marco was.
First it was Eddie and Edgar. They're gone.
I'm shutting down for the rest of the podcast because that was one and
done. So is Solskjaer starting to feel the heat?
I think he should start to feel the heat.
I don't know.
It's only right. I mean, every other team does it, And United are a team that should be up there with any other team. They are a reputable team. And how long did Moyes have at United till he was sacked?
Well, I think it was just. Beyond a season.
Just beyond a season. So
yeah,
if it was just that,
it was like season and a half, and then he was done.
Yeah. So if all these had half a season and a half so far now.
No, he's had half a season so far.
So I think he had enough time in half season to start implementing his ideas. He had the whole summer training camp to actually kind of solidify that, and he brought in the players too.
He sold more than he brought in.
He sold more than he brought in, and you're not on a great start. I think it is time to start to question Ollie because even his track record isn't anything to brag about. So, this goes back to last season? Was it an impulse decision to buy a legendary player, or was it a smart move? I think now that's going to start to get questioned if things don't change.
I see that.
All I can say is I have a feeling that if he doesn't pick up in the next couple of games, by December he's out.
I would give him until December at least.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
today,
for sure.
This past game, this is one of those games that you guys gonna have. Top 6 should technically walk away with the win easily. More because of the track record that they have. They're not the strongest, even though they do score in every game in the past 13, 14 games. Technically, they have been easier matches for the top 6.
Sure.
So you guys tying against them kind of makes you look a little bad,
a little weak,
and then concerning for Man U fans.
Well, it's not just tying this last game. It's the last I think 16 fixtures have been very negative in you guys. Yeah, I think 2 wins out of those last 16 fixtures.
That stat's been floating around a lot. That the fact that he's only won 3 games in the last 16 official Premier League matches because he had a lot of draws at the end of the season. They're adding in there the 2 losses to Barcelona, which fine, but.
Can this become a Chelsea when you want to get rid of Mourinho when they just decide to just say fuck it and we're not going to do anything for you guys?
I don't think so.
That's a good question for you.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Listen. We made this bet at the beginning. Who's going to get sacked first?
Yeah.
I still firmly believe it's Lampard. I really do. I still firmly believe it's Lampard. I don't think it's gonna be Solskjaer, man. I really don't. Yes, the lack of squad depth is concerning, and that's a big issue. And we saw it this past weekend. As soon as one injury, and he's contemplating whether or not to start a 17-year-old, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's also not the ideal. You don't want that. You want to have someone who can pick it up. Somebody who could cover. I think Solskjaer is going to be given enough time to get, I would say, like you had mentioned, Eric, half the season, and then that's it. They'll reassess after that. Like, they're not looking at these fixtures right now as far as like the results. Like, oh my God, like they're gonna be alarm bells ringing. But we're gonna get more. We're gonna get more matches. There's gonna be the fixture congestion, Europa, Champions League, in that order of greatness. They're gonna start.
I feel you on that. Is it? One last question on this: do you think it's gonna go back to what happened last season, where they statistically waited till it was impossible for them to reach top? What, 6 was it until they fired?
That was a little off, and I don't know if I had shared this before. I can't remember, but I think that was probably. I don't know. Don't quote me. This is speculation. I think that was probably something that came from higher ups, specifically Woodward's mind, where he was like, "Oh, nothing's wrong." Like that seems like a very business perspective. Like, let's not worry about it until we technically can't get a profit from it, until we can't get a return.
Wasn't that the whole debate with Woodward?
Yeah, that was it. And whether or not they should have stuck with him, or they should, like, when the whole comeback with PSG, all the other stuff, not to get it draw it out too long, but I felt Solskjaer was doing great, but like they had already publicly stated we're not gonna appoint someone yet, and then they went a complete 180 on themselves, and then did the opposite.
Give him 5 years?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly don't remember. I think it was more like 2 or 3.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, that's how much I tuned out what that decision was, because I was like, man, that makes the whole board just look kind of like I don't know, like immature almost. Like you had a plan, you had a decision, you didn't stick to it, and now you're gonna do the complete opposite. What's the point? So anyway, that's I think that the way this conversation went, I think that kind of shows the reality of what like United are facing. Yeah. That we can't just talk about a win or a draw or a loss. Like, we can't just talk about the results, because there's so much other stuff like underneath that we're peeling. Once we're peeling these layers, we see that there's a bunch of problems. But 1-1 Southampton, we have a win, 2 draws, and a loss. For the first few weeks, that's. The one thing I won't take is probably this draw. But after beating Chelsea, taking an away point at Wolves, losing to Crystal Palace, I have no complaints for that.
I know why Diego used the peeling analogy for the United problems, because it's like an onion. The more you peel, the more you cry.
That's where you're laughing for yourself.
I don't know why I interrupted. I wanted to get it all out. I'm like, okay.
It's actually a good one. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
Wow. If I knew that you guys
I like my name
too, bro. Yo, Eric and Marco, bro. I'm gonna write these down, man.
My name's on there.
I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna get you guys back. It's all good. We take it. If you dish it out, you can take it too, right? So next one on the docket here, we have the actual Sheffield game, Chelsea and Sheffield United. I'll ask you right now, what's worse? Being 1-0 up away to Southampton, or being 2-0 up at home against Sheffield?
I'll 2-0 up home at Sheffield, hands down.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And you guys looked at me crazy when I'm like, I feel like Lampard's gonna get freaking sacked first.
There's a difference.
What's the difference?
Because
you had a window and they didn't.
They didn't?
That's a huge
at home?
difference. No, window.
They had a window to purchase.
Window.
Oh, the window.
They literally gave Lampard
nothing.
A shit squad without Hazard. They handed him shit on a plate.
They basically said, if you want players, bring them up.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing.
That's the difference.
Fine.
That's a huge difference. And they don't have Pogba or Martial.
Again, though, that's not an excuse. They deserve this.
No, correct. No,
I
did completely. I mean, trust me, I'm so happy for that they got players.
Me
and
too.
I want them to continue forever. But it won't happen. But who's paying the consequence? The board. The board's paying the consequence. So they can't bring anybody in. So they appointed a manager that can at least start building a foundation. It's a smart move. I heard this in a different podcast before. There are a couple of teams out there in the Premier League right now that within the next 3 to 4 years are going to be deadly. And it's not sitting at Liverpool. So I think with this whole Frank Lampard, all these who's going to sack first, that's why even though they lost 2-0 at home, I mean they tied 2-2 at home and they were 2-0 up. Lampard is not going to get under too much fire. He's going to get questioned for his tactics. He's going to adapt as he goes. But he's not. He's there. He's there for the long haul.
His excuse will always be, I don't have a transfer window.
He didn't have a transfer window.
I didn't bring anybody.
It's not his fault, though. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
That's such a cop-out.
It is. But for him, he could get away with it because he wasn't manager when all this shit happened. He walked into this.
Exactly.
So
okay, but
perfect example.
He still took the job. Example.
They United were in shambles last year when Mourinho left. Ollie came in. It didn't get that much better, but he was handed shit when he came in. So they let. But what did they do? What did they do? They gave him fucking 2-3 years. He didn't improve the squad. He kept them exactly where they were. And they gave him 2-3 years on top of that.
And transfer window came along, and what do you do? Bring in 2 defenders?
Yeah. But regardless of the point,
but
Frank Lampard literally handed a team with one of the best players in the world no longer there. With no opportunity to bring anybody else in besides play your young players or play Arsenal rejects, Giroud. Like that's to me the major difference between the two is that Ollie has the opportunities to build a great team, and yet we haven't seen anything yet. Again, I say yet. And then Frank Lampard, he has a very, very young team. Very young team. With no transfer window, and he's still managing
I don't know what the inner workings were for that deal, but I said it before, nothing forced them to sell Hazard this window.
Nothing forced out.
Nothing.
Except for
you're right.
Nothing forced them.
I'm happy they sold him.
Nothing forced them to get rid of the one guy that was carrying their season even prior to a transfer ban.
Wait, did he have? How many years did he have left on the contract?
I think he had like one more.
Oh yeah, that was last year. That was last year. So
get money.
Then
now,
that turns get money now, or he goes for free, because he wanted to go already.
I mean,
and then you look who you look like next. You look like Arsenal, fucking paying players to go play somewhere else.
No, that's Man U Java down.
Both of them are doing that, so you can't speak, bro.
Yeah,
Don't speak out of line, baby. Don't speak out of line, baby.
They're still paying 3/4 of such as.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, you're still paying for Alexis wage bill.
It'll be like Mourinho, yo. I will speak and I'll be punished. Yo. If I speak, I'll be punished.
But yes,
back to the game itself, though.
Yeah.
Drawing a few positives, so we don't bash on Chelsea too much. Or actually, you two guys sound like you want to give them all the scapegoats in the freaking world. I don't know why you're wearing these jerseys right now. They should be blue right now. So we see Tammy Abraham pick up a brace. So that's gonna be pretty exciting to see.
Fantasy pickup, definitely.
I want to, man.
Short-term fantasy pickup.
Yeah. He's cheap.
It would be more of a like. See, depending on who's playing next, I might be like going back and forth with him and Jimenez. As long as they don't go up in price, because I have Jimenez now, but he's only got him like a goal.
That's fine, bro.
But
I'm telling you.
At the same time, I don't know. What worries me is once they actually make it to the Europa, when we start that phase,
they're gonna focus on Europa, man.
Then it's just I might just have to get rid of him, and maybe Abraham would be the person to pick up.
So Chelsea looked like they were in complete control. Again, as in typical Lampard fashion, we've already seen that these past 4 weeks, which is pretty consistent, to say the least, if that's a positive thing, that they play really well the beginning of the match. They play pretty good. And then they fall off.
You know what, man? I think if we mix Arsenal and Chelsea together, we'll be the best team ever.
Fuck Chelsea. Not because they both have shitty defense.
True.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I mean, as in the tempos of the half. Strong first half, and then strong second half.
Second half, just swap the 11 players on the pitch. Yeah. So that actually leads us good. And the next point of the game, they start to fall apart against Sheffield United at home. They didn't even look that deadly, Sheffield.
They didn't.
They had a few. I think his name was Robinson. One of their wingers.
Robinson, he
was going at them pretty hard. And what's his name? Ollie McBurney was also leading line for them. He's a little bit frustrated to come off early.
He beat up a yellow. Pretty reckless yellow.
Yeah, you saw that?
Heated, yeah.
That was a little. That's frustration, man.
Yeah.
That's frustration because it's like you could see that Sheffield felt that they could take control of this game.
Yeah, bro.
You could really feel that. And then we get Zuma on goal.
I mean, he's looking like Mustafi. Man. Like they gave us David Luiz, but they kept Zuma, so who lost who?
I gotta feel bad. Like, I rate Zuma. I like Zuma. He's cool. He was hanging out with Pogba a lot this summer. He had a few videos up there. He seems like a cool guy. But that all goal, man, that was just...
Okay, so I didn't watch the game because I was picking up my suit for the weekend, but how bad was it?
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, Sheffield's second half, their passing was pretty fucking clinical. It was nice. They had great 1-2 passes to get out of tight areas. I mean, the entire game, they seemed very comfortable holding the ball at their feet when they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So, for a team that just got promoted to the Premier League, that's a good definitely a good shot for the future, because if you're that confident going up against the Chelsea squad, yes, they're in kind of a rough situation right now. But still go in there at Stamford Bridge and do that kind of passing around the Chelsea midfield and defense. I think they're in a good position. So I think it was a great game overall.
Yeah, but so Zuma's auto goal, how was that?
Oh, it was a cross in, and Zuma just put leg in, hit his shin, and went out of Kepa's direction.
Oh, okay, so it was more of a
deflection.
We're going to talk about the Juve Napoli game in a minute, but
yeah, it was
something similar to that. Okay,
pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. I was happy. I was looking at Fernando. He was pretty sick, but I was definitely happy. I try to keep it down low. I try to keep the emotions down low. Okay, I just picked up Mount too.
Oh, the Eddie?
Exactly. I mean, there was a moment I got pissed off because they had an easy fucking pass to get. I think it was either draw it up earlier or to get the lead, and he fucked it up, and I got pissed.
Yes. Right across goal.
Yeah. And I get up, and I was like, I'm gonna kill you. Oh, stay back down. Just chill out.
You took out your inner Edgar?
I took my inner Edgar, but I wasn't cheering for Chelsea. I was just cheering for Sheffield.
Yeah.
I was cheering for Sheffield. So
against Chelsea.
So
Lampard's tactics, I guess, to wrap it up. Do you think they're being questioned right now? Are you guys still gonna let him off the hook?
I'm not. Look, I think if you're able to get these early leads like this and still score goals against most of your oppositions, Mount's been a great player. Pulisic's been doing pretty good. But you can't stick it out the second half. I don't think that's too much of a question on the gameplay because they're getting the goals, they're getting in there. I think it's more of a question of their consistency in the second half. So that's something they have to work on. Either it's a mentality thing, physical thing. I don't know what it is. Hopefully they don't work on it it works in our favors. But that's, to me, the changing factor is the way they end the game. You know, they start off great. We've seen it already, but they just can't finish it off. We saw it against United. First foremost, had a great first half. Second half, got bent over. You know, so tactics wise, I think they're on a good route. Should they be questioned? That's up to you. I don't know. I think he's doing pretty well for what he has.
Here we go.